Oh wow.
Oh.
正在收洗手间的旅客，请您站好扶手，谢谢。
dizer, mas nem vale a pena somar mais uma.
They live in groups called a family school.
Look, what's going on?
So underwater they can only hold their breath for about 5 to 6 minutes.
National park, so it's a game reserve. So they won't be commuting. There's actually been instances like we were to go. Oh wow.
Chobe is big national park, right?
Very big, yes.
Oh la la.
The color. Because you haven't kept count.
Yeah, I know.
When you see the baby hippo? Yeah.
Yes.
That is a water monitor lizard. Little Komodo.
It's like us.
25 kilometers per hour plus.
Oh. Yeah, fast.
Female, matriarch.
Work hard, work hard. Dove.
Bird?
Yes. Bird. Yeah.
Buffalo.
Buffalo. The African Cape buffalo. Maybe further a little bit more. A little bit. Further a little bit. Perfecto. Perfecto. So good. Julia, look here. Julia. Also pertaining to you. She's doing that.
Rubbing.
Rabbit scratching up to get rid of parasites.
Ah.
Rubbing. Greater egrets. They know that the big animal, when he moves, he chase some flies. try to pick up some flies.
She's probably going to the water.
There it is, open your mouth. Oh, it's yawning there.
Wow, this is by 100.
Oh, it's an impala, lots of them.
Impala. This threatening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It works both ways.
Die Anschnallzeichen eingeschaltet sind. Seien Sie vorsichtig, wenn Sie während des Fluges anytime. Therefore, you are required to have your seatbelt fastened whenever.
And then this is actually some of the one of the apartments that belong to the birds that we call them the sociable weaver.
Lukas, dangin boy. Okay. Uncle, what's it? Hey. Function is also happening at 2:45. All right. So this is a very bumpy road. So at certain sections might go a little bit faster. So it is really a horse riding, especially at the back there.
Right.
So that is Namibia national antelope, right? So oryx is also considered.
It's the hottest moment of the day then normally.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, the afternoon.
Oh,
Around 4 or 5 o'clock.
okay. Yeah.
But yeah, it starts getting.
The next station is Airport Terminal 1.
이따가